All right, hello everybody and welcome back to the build. It's early January here in New Jersey and I modified the body buck so I could roll the buck over the car with the body on. In hindsight, I should have made the buck a bit wider so I could store it with the body on top of the buck or underneath the buck. But anyway, spent a few days and made the change. There's my wife's beautiful Mini Cooper with a 6-speed manual transmission. You got to admire that. But anyway, in this video, we are going to start work on the doors. Okay, and really we want to install the exterior handles, the interior handles, and the bear claw or the latches that lock the doors down. Not sure exactly how much we'll get done in this video, but if you're interested, stay tuned. Okay, we're down here in the Joel K workshop. We're working on these doors for a few weeks during the winter. But anyway, this is what we've got going on. So this is the door as it is delivered by RCR, and they also give you some hardware. So what we have here is, this is from a Mazda Miata, and this is an interior door pull and a lock. Then we have a generic, I think this is from Auto Lock, a bear claw, and there's two directions you can trigger the claw. There we go. So either pull it this way or pull it this way. And then we have these external Mazda Miata door handles, and I modified them with this plate here. So if you throw the lock, it literally prevents you from opening the door. And then you throw the lock the other way, then it will then pull on the bear claw. The idea is to connect this lock mechanism and be able to throw the lock one way or the other way. Also introduce some electric door actuators as well. All right, we'll figure all that out at some point. Right now, what I want to do is, in general, people cut this area of the door out so they have access to put the bear claw in, which goes here. Then the external lock goes on the top side, and then they have to do some work to get the door hinge located, so they need access here. What I'm going to try to do is I want to cut away the front section and the rear section so I have access to work, but I want to mount the door handles so they line up with the interior door panels. So we are going to look at the interior door panel next. Okay, well, the angle here really isn't good, but I think you'll sort of get the drift. So what we are looking at is an interior door card or door panel, and this is made of fiberglass. It's got a carbon fiber veneer applied to it. Not sure if I'll leave the carbon fiber exposed or cover it with leather or whatever. But anyway, this fits really nice. I mean, that's sort of cool. I like the style, and it finishes off the doors really nice. They provide an indentation, so that indentation will locate the door pull, the inner door handle, and there's a nice bezel that will basically close everything up. So the first piece of work here is we're going to cut out the area for the bezel. Then once we do that, we'll be able to locate and center the door handle in that area. So the idea is that the door handle mounts on the door, and then the door panel can be installed independent of the door handle. So all the linkages, all that kind of complex stuff can be left alone, and I can pop the door panel off, and then you slide the bezel in, which finishes the area. So it's a nice little setup. All right, so we're going to cut that out and then we'll take a look. Okay, there we go. I had the hole cut out perfectly. I used a 2-inch hole saw on each side and then cut out the remainder. I made a template out of wood just to make sure I got the size right. And then this is the cover, the handle cover. That looks really nice and finishes it off. So the idea is this can come off with the handle cover in place. Then I can remove the door card if I need to service the door latch or linkage, etc. Okay, we're looking at the door upside down. So I marked where the handle's gonna go. And it turns out what I was hoping to do, I don't think is possible. My idea was to cut in front of the handle and behind it and leave this in place and then mount the handle. So this is the interior handle. But by the time you cut, you know, with a border, you basically have nowhere to put your hand in. I mean, the door bolts are going to go here, and there's just no way to get in there, and then I'd have to reach in there with a long arm. It just doesn't seem realistic. The other thing is, too, behind this area, we typically build it up with some additional fiberglass or Kevlar or an aluminum plate. So I think it's just going to be too difficult to work inside the door and reach in from there. So I'm going to cut this whole area out with the border. That way I have easy access, and then we'll attach the panel with the door handle. All right, that's how a number of other builders did it, and I was trying to outsmart myself, but it didn't work. All right, stay tuned. Okay, a little work in process here. So you can see how I cut these sections out. I radius the corners. Let's see, I use some masking tape just to protect the finish. And then I use a very light Sharpie, nice thin line to follow with the oscillating tool, and it does a good job. Okay, well, we finished it off. Yeah, I use some sanding tools. I use a little sanding drum, this thing, and just smooth out the edges so there's no wave in them. Okay, next step is to install the bear claw. You can see we have this T-handle, right? And that opens the door up. So we have to cut a slot in the door to accept the T-handle. Basically what I did was I created a little template, and I'm going to use this sort of router bit to more accurately make that slot. So I made this on the mill. I'll transfer the cutout into the fiberglass, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, I think that worked out pretty good. We didn't do really any damage to the template, and we cut that out. Wait, I bought that bit probably 15 years ago. I didn't even know what it was. I just bought it, and now it came in handy. All right, let's pull this off and see if it all fits. Okay, so I got it all cut out. Not too bad. It did a nice job. I mean, carving it out, better than using a sanding disc freehand. Sort of hard to get in there. I had to make this a little longer and move this edge in a little bit, but you can see, here's the bear claw. It just gets in there, and then it's aligned really nice. It's a little confusing because it doesn't look like it's all the way on the bottom, but there's there's a round edge in here, and then this side is very square. So it's got to be up just a little bit. And then on the opposite side, I'll put a steel mounting plate just to make sure it could absorb the shock of the door being closed. But anyway, this is good. We'll attach this to the door with some screws, and then we'll call it a wrap. Okay, there we go. The latch is installed, it's screwed in. This is how I centered the holes for the latches. There's not a lot of room for error because I had to cut that slot out. So I make sort of a centering screw. Just take a regular 1/4-inch screw, make a point to it, and then when I feed it in, it goes right in the middle and marks the masking tape. I find this is better than the center punch, because the center punches can sort of go in on an angle because they're not that precise, and then you have to make the holes a little larger, and I don't like to do that. I like to make it very precise. So let's take a look back here. You can see what I'm talking about. There you go. So not a lot of room for error, but all in all it came out good. I'm actually going to put a steel backing plate and glue that to the fiberglass and make it rock solid. Then let's try to get an action photo here. All right, we pull the lever, boom, nice. All right, as usual, thanks for watching and take care.